Good afternoon, everybody. Wee Paddy from Across the Shock, and another video for you today. This is on my GEC number 82 Dixie Stockman. I don't know why it's called the Dixie Stockman. If anybody does, please let me know. I bought this knife second hand. It was in great condition. Don't get me wrong, absolutely great condition. But it's from 2018. Let me just go through this. For those of you who don't know, the first two numbers are the pattern number. This is number 82, the Dixie Stockman. The next number, number 8, is the main clip point, which is like a Turkish clip. The 3 is for 3 blades, and the 18 is for the year it was made, 2018. So there you go. And GEC started in 2006. So it's a new company. For those of you who don't know about it, it's a newish company in the knife market, but the man who owns it is a lifelong knife maker. Top of his game, worked for Queen, worked for all sorts of companies, just an absolute genius as a maker and for running a business. He has a really great business plan in my eyes because he makes knives that people want. He doesn't do, it's a small factory compared to some of the bigger factories out there. And he makes small batch runs and they're quite hard to get. There's nothing wrong with that. You go to higher end, GEC to me are the higher end of pocket knives. They're not custom, but they're the higher end because of their quality. He doesn't charge high end prices for them. The secondary market does if they're a rare model and you want to get them. But you can buy second hand, like I got this one second hand. I got it for a reasonable price because it had been used. Um, and that's the sort of people you're out there looking for. Genuine people who'll sell you at a reasonable price for a knife that I'm sure he could have got much more off if he'd have went on the normal secondary market. Join little forums and groups, get to know the people. That's how you get knives. If you buy them secondhand, if you're going to use a knife, does it matter if it's secondhand or, the damage that's been caused by use is what's going to put you on or off it. This is perfectly fine. The only difference in this in a second-hand knife, it's been used and cleaned, and there's an etching normally on their north field. It comes off, and I have new knives that it's off mine already because I use them. So to buy a knife second-hand just because it's a user, I don't want to trade this on. I could if I wanted to, but I bought this as a user and for my collection. I'm a user collector. So, and I don't use them all. I have too many, but this is one of the ones that is used. I don't use this one for cutting up steaks and things like that. I'm trying to keep the blade just nice on it. I mean, I use it for wood, for cardboard, anything like that. Opening boxes, there's great blades on it for all them tasks, and I'll go through them slowly. It's got the most beautiful bomb shield. It's an elderberry jigged bone, and it's gorgeous. One of my favorite colored bones that GEC do. They're not all the same. I have other ones that are not all the same, but it's just a color that I love, that maroon to red elderberry color. It's got the bomb shield on it, which I really do love. It's got line bolsters because it's Northfield. It's got line bolsters. It's got the shiny blades, the highly polished blades. Everything about this knife is just beautiful. Look down on that knife. How lovely them blades are in there. How beautiful the joint, the transitions up onto the bolsters are just beautiful. Look at that back. Is that not just beautiful? It really is gorgeous. Now, what's different about this knife than other Stockmans? Well, it's the blade configuration. Normally on Stockmans, if I show you a normal Stockman, here's a Rough Rider Stockman, which again is another amazing knife. For the money on this is micarta handles. You have ring bolsters. You have nail nicks that have got matte strike pulls. You have blade swedges. This is amazing. 30 odd pound here in the UK, cheaper in the States. So you normally get a clip point, just a normal type clip point. You also get a sheep's foot, and then you get it's a tough one, a spay blade. These pulls on these are absolutely excellent. They really are good. So you got a spay blade, which is used for neutering, but it's also great for getting under things that you don't want to damage or put a hole in. So that's a normal Stockman pattern. This doesn't deviate too much but it just gives a different pattern that I like. The pulls on this are not as strong as that Rough Rider. So don't always think that you need to have a hard pull. You don't. You just need to use a traditional knife, a pocket knife. Different. When it's a slip joint, you have to use and hold it different, and you'll only get that by use. So this is a Turkish clip or an American clip. Um, Nowhere near as hard a spring as the Rough Rider, but I've got a 3-inch blade here. This is a bigger knife. This is 4 1/8 inches long closed, and this main blade is about 3 inches from hilt to tip. Lovely, lovely knife. Really good for if you want to do apples or things like that, because it's big enough to cut right through the apples. It's thin enough to slice through and not chunk them. I know that worries a lot of people with knives, but there we go. So you get that splay blade, or not the splay, the clip blade. You get a Wharncliffe instead of a sheep's foot, which I love a Warren. I like a sheep's foot too, but the Wharncliffe is so great for detailed work, box opening, anything like that. That knife can do any sort of detailed task that you'll want. And the last blade, instead of the spay blade, you have a beautiful little drop point. Now these blades have about a 2-inch cutting. The main one has a 2 3/4 inch cutting. So they're all very, very useful. There's good snap with it, but it's just not as tight as I would. I like a stronger pull on my knives, but it would never put me off buying a knife. The pull would never. This is just, I mean, just look at that. Just the way they finish their knives off. No gaps, tight. It's just beautiful. And to me, this is the epitome of a working knife. You've got 3 blades. You know, if you can't get through a day on 3 blades, you need to take maybe a different type of knife. But this will get me through anything I'll ever need to do. And it's got the size and heft to carry off any task. I just love it. I think it's really beautiful. I think what GEC do, I'm going to move this up here to the top corner. What they do is just stunning. And I say it every time, but I genuinely mean it. I mean, even to get down to this little drop point here, the wee cut out there so you can get your nail in because it's low down. And that is the joy of this knife. Look how low the blades are set. Like a normal, look how high that middle blade sits up on all the blades sit up compared to this one. This is a smaller knife. But look how high the blade sits up. And that makes it awkward when you're using the likes of your main blade. The sheep's foot on a lot of them sticks way up here. And when you hold it, when you take the grip off it, it's uncomfortable. This, I barely feel it. It goes in the crease of my finger. I just barely crease it. There's enough of the choil up here that I can put my finger there and that's not going to close on me. So that's why it doesn't matter. You know, as long as you got a knife you can get up close to the blade, it's never going to happen that you're going to bash it down on yourself. And if you do, you don't get rid of your locking knives because you cut yourself. And I've cut myself on more locking knives than I have slip joints, but I don't get rid of them because I've cut myself. So usually cutting yourself has nothing to do with the knife whatsoever. And that's a fact. There's a Paddy's giving you a fact. There you go. Right. What is the other types of GEC are great. They do different types of the same blade. They just put different types of the same working knife. They do different blade configurations. This is another stock. This is a Stockyard Whittler from GEC. Probably my favorite knife of all time, and definitely these are my top 2 Stockmans. They're both different again. This one has a traditional main clip point, which is just GEC. Every time I open a GEC clip, I just get excited. The way they swedge and just make a good fat clip, it's just perfect for work. The other blade they have is a good substantial sheep's foot. You know, I mean, that's a good at least 2-inch cutting blade. And on this one, which makes it my favourite because it's one of the most useful tools, a punch. To have, if you're anybody that does anything with your hands, a punch is just such a useful tool. So there's one knife that, you know, I'll put that up there just to let you see. And again, I've got 3 Stockmans, and they're all 3 different blades. This is a traditional Stockman with traditional blades that I've shown you. And these are 2 GECs, which are slightly different. just slightly different. So I've got three, and I keep this not because I wanted to show or to relate against, because this cuts and does everything nearly as good as these, but a fraction of the price. A fraction of the price of these. It looks as nice. Just pick that up and pick that up. That green micarta is done so well. Yes, I believe this looks better, but there's nothing wrong with this. It's not something I wouldn't be proud to bring out and use. The back is pretty well done. It's pretty tight. There's wee slight gaps, but nothing much for the price of it. This is as good a stockman as far as work goes as one of these. Now, the blades are a bit thicker in this. The steel is not as good, but again, it's 420. It's not that bad, and this will last me a day just as much as they will. So please don't think that because you can't afford a GEC or you find them hard to get, that there isn't other alternatives that are at a budget price. Case do lovely stockmans. Do you know what I mean? There's plenty of other knives that do. This is just my choice of what I collect up here, and this is also what I use as well. But in all honesty, I use these more than I use this. Go figure. Because I like having user knives to do specific tasks and jobs. So, there's my two. And I just want to let you see more of the size of this. Here is a boy's knife, which is just like most Barlow knives. I'll bring this up. There is a difference between, a Barlow, an ordinary Barlow. A case Barlow is just a wee bit smaller, very, very little in it, than this TC one here that I've just received. There is a big difference in size of the boy's knife or the Barlow knife than the stockman. This is for working, but 3 blades, and look at all the difference in thickness. It's just a cover scale thicker, but you've got a beautiful 3-bladed knife for work. There we go. I'm not going to go on. I just think it's a gorgeous knife. I hope you liked seeing it. I hope you like seeing the different blades you can get. And lots of other companies do different blades, not just GEC. So, yes, I'm a GEC fanboy at the minute, and I make no bones about it. I enjoy collecting them. I'm going to keep collecting them, and I hope you enjoy listening to me rant and rave about them. There you go. Paddy's away. Cup of tea time. Thanks for watching. Bye now.